You are 40 years old, and the math no longer feels like a simple equation you can solve with the calculators on your phone. You look at your bank account on a Tuesday evening, the glow of the screen illuminating a face that has aged in ways you did not anticipate, and you realize the horizon is closing in faster than the statistics promised. You were told that by this age you would be comfortable, that the momentum of your career would carry you toward a quiet, stable shore, but instead you feel like you are paddling against a current that only grows stronger. What if the reason you are still struggling is not because you lack discipline or ambition, but because you have been playing a game with rules that were designed to keep you exactly where you are? Stay with me, because by the time this conversation ends, you will see the invisible tray that has claimed the best years of your midlife, and you will understand why your current trajectory is a slow-motion catastrophe. Most men reach this stage of life assuming that if they just work a little harder, secure that next promotion, or cut back on the small luxuries, the numbers will eventually resolve themselves. You wake up early, you grind through the commute, you handle the stress that settles in your shoulders like lead, and yet, at the end of every month, the balance remains stubbornly stagnant. You feel the weight of expectation from your spouse, from your children, and most painfully, from the version of yourself you promised to become 10 years ago. It is a quiet, persistent anxiety that hums in the back of your mind while you are trying to sleep. A feeling that if you stop moving for even a second, the entire structure of your life might collapse. You look around at your peers, and some seem to have cracked the code, while others share your hollowed-out exhaustion. You wonder if the problem is localized, something specific to your choices, but the truth is far more structural and far more daunting. The error is not that you are spending too much on coffee or skipping the gym. It is that you are operating under the illusion of the linear climb. We are conditioned to believe that life is a ladder, where each rung represents a predictable step forward. But that is a lie sold to those who need to remain compliant. The invisible trap's the reason for your struggle, and you are currently caught in it because you are pursuing stability in an era that rewards only agility and radical adaptation. You are trying to build a fortress in a desert that is constantly shifting its sands. You think your biggest risk is a bad investment or an unexpected expense, but the actual risk, the one that is quietly dissolving your net worth, is the reliance on institutional security that no longer exists. You are holding on to a manual for a world that ceased to function a decade ago, and every day you spend doubling down on these outdated methods. You are inadvertently accelerating your own financial attrition. We are told that if we save a percentage of our paycheck, maximize our retirement contributions, and stay out of consumer debt, we are doing it right. This is the holy grail of middle-class advice, the mantra of the sensible and the bedrock of the status quo. But consider this. Why are so many people who follow this advice still drowning as they approach their 50s? It is because this advice is designed to keep you solvent enough to be a consumer, but never agile enough to be truly free. You are being encouraged to play a game of defense while the world is playing an aggressive game of offense. When you focus solely on penky pinching and generic advice, you are starving your ability to innovate your own income stream. The belief that frugality alone is the path to wealth is the most dangerous myth you have ever swallowed, because it distracts you from the only thing that actually moves the needle, the aggressive expansion of your value in the marketplace. If you have realized that your current routine is leading to a dead end, I want you to pause and consider the reality of your current trajectory. Before we go deeper into how to dismantle this trap, take a moment to look at your calendar. Are you managing your time as if it were a scarce resource, or are you filling it with tasks that provide the illusion of productivity while your financial foundation erodes? If this breakdown of the invisible trap resonates with your reality, subscribe to this channel and comment below with the word clarity. So, I know you are ready to stop playing the game by their rules and start defining your own. We are going to strip away the noise so you can see where your real leverage lies. But understand that the path forward requires a level of honesty that most men are unwilling to face. The pressure is mounting, and it is not just in your head. The consequences of your current stagnation are real and measurable. Every month that goes by without a fundamental shift in your financial philosophy is a month where inflation erodes your purchasing power, where your career relevance begins to slip, and where your window for high-impact pivoting shrinks. You are not just losing money. You are losing the ability to command your own time. When you are financially shackled, you lose the power to say no to toxic environments, the power to pursue a passion that could yield 10 times the return, and the power to protect your family from the inevitable shocks of a volatile economy. You are effectively paying a premium for a level of safety that is an illusion, and that premium is your freedom. The tension you feel is not a flaw in your character. It is a signal from your intuition that you are leaving out of alignment with your own potential. So, how do you break this cycle? First, you must stop looking at your salary as the primary vehicle for your wealth. It is a baseline for survivals, nothing more. You need to shift to refocus toward developing a secondary skill set, something that the market currently undervalues but will desperately need in the coming years. This is not about starting a side hustle that burns you out. It is about becoming a specialist in a niche that requires high-level thinking, not just raw labor. Second, you must practice radical transparency with your own spending. Most men look at their expenses and see necessities, but when you look closer, you will see a trail of emotional purchases designed to soothe the stress of the very life you're trying to fund. Cut the fluff that offers no utility and no joy, and redirect those funds into assets that have the potential to appreciate, not just sit in a stagnant savings account. Third, audit your network. If the people you spend your time with are consistently talking about how hard things got, you will never find the energy to innovate. Surround yourself with those who are actively solving the problems you are struggling with. But there is a second, deeper revelation that most people overlook. Even if you optimize your income and track your expenses, you will fail if you do not understand the psychology of your own risk tolerance. Most men over 40 become risk averse because they fear losing what they have already built, even if what they have built is barely enough to keep them afloat. You are operating from a place of scarcity, guarding your pennies while the dollar loses its value. You must learn to distinguish between reckless gambling and calculated exposure. Reckless gambling is buying into a trend because you hope it will make you rich overnight. Calculated exposure is investing in your own education, your own systems, and your own leverage, knowing that the compound interest of your skills will far outweigh the short-term market fluctuations. You have to become comfortable with the idea that the safest place to store your energy is in your own mind and your own ability to generate value, regardless of the economic climate. The climax of this journey is recognizing that the system is not broken. It is designed to keep you in a state of perpetual maintenance, keeping your head just above water so you are always productive but never powerful. Once you accept this, the frustration transforms into a cold, focused resolve. You are no longer looking for a miracle cure or a secret investment that will save you. You are looking to reclaim your agency, The brutal truth is that no one is coming to help you. No company is going to reward your loyalty with a golden ticket to retirement. And no government policy is going to offset the reality of your current stagnation. The responsibility rests entirely on your shoulders, and that is not a burden. It is the ultimate freedom. You have the power to pivot, to reinvent, and to build a strategy that isn't just about surviving the next 20 years, but about dominating the second half of your life with clarity and purpose. You are at the midpoint of your narrative, and the ending is entirely within your control. Do not let the comfort of the status quo lull you back into the sleep of the living dead. You have seen the invisible trap. You have dismantled the myths of linear growth, and you understand that the only security you possess is the value you create and the agility with which you move. Take the steps we discussed today. Audit your life with ruthless precision and refuse to be a statistic in the story of the struggling man over 40. Your time is the only asset that is genuinely non-renewable, and every moment you spend in indecision is a moment you are choosing to lose. Stand up, take the measure of your life, and begin the work that actually matters. This is not the end of conversation, but it is the end of the excuses. The path out of the trap begins with the decision to stop looking for permission and start exercising your own power. Whether you choose to continue on your current path or ignite a radical change is now the only question that remains. The choice is yours, and the clock is moving forward regardless of your answer. Be deliberate, be disciplined, and ensure that when you reach the next milestone, you are standing on solid ground of your own construction, not the shifting sands of someone else's design. Prosperity is not a result of luck. It is the inevitable consequence of a man who finally decided to stop guessing and started executing with absolute intent. Keep your eyes on the horizon, keep your mind sharp, and keep working toward the life you deserve, because the only thing standing between you and that life is the version of yourself that is still afraid to change. Turn the page, close the chapter on the man you were, say and start the next one with the clarity of a man who finally knows exactly what he is moving toward. You are not defined by the mistakes that brought you here. You are defined by the actions you take to ensure you never make them again. Go forth and apply this, because the world does not reward the best intentions. It rewards the best decisions. And now you have the data you need to make